Welcome to Genki Chapter 12, Kanji. This is our last thing to do in the Genki volume, which is kind of cool. All right, so here we are. We are in our Kanji Alive app with the text search of text gen C12. All right, and so here we have the 14 kanji of the last chapter. I might try to do different this time and try to go in the order of the kanji as they're introduced in the textbook, at least for the first couple. And when we get to the second one, the reason why hopefully should be apparent. That was my dog sneezing. Okay, so the first kanji we have is the kanji for Mukashi. For a long time ago, right? Mukashi, long, long ago. Former times, antiquity. The kunyomi is seki or shaku or jaku, as in Konjaku Monogatari, which is an old collection of literature. The radical is the sun radical. On the top, here let's look at the stroke order. So like the grass radical, but with a base below it. And then the sun on the bottom. The hint, something from the past, and grass has grown over it. So I don't know if you can, how well you can see this. This one line and the kanji for sun is actually a kanji that is read Q, and it means former or ancient or past. And then this top three stroke radical is the grass radical. So we have Mukashi, right? Olden days, long ago. We have Mukashi Banashi, which are folk tales or folklore. Oh, here it is. Konjaku Monogatari, tales of past and present. All right. And then let's see if it will let us go to the second kanji. I wanted to do the second because this is a very strange kanji. It's not like the other kanji because what it is it is a symbol of repetition. As the hint, it says this is not an actual kanji, but an ideographic iteration mark, indicating that the previous kanji should be repeated. And we see over here on the sides, we have hitobito is a plural for people, kuniguni, countries, plural, iro, various, shosho, a little bit, somewhat, with a kanji for small, sukunai. It kind of looks like a missing katakana. It's almost like you're going to write a ku in katakana and then you change your mind and you write a ma instead. So what this means is you repeat the kanji that came before it. This, I think, is a relic of kambun, which was a series of notations so that Japanese speakers could read ancient Chinese texts. You'll notice in several of these the consonant changes in the second repeated kanji. So kuniguni, hitobito, but yama is the same, iro is the same, and shosho is the same. The third kanji is this one, which are kami. Also read as kan or ko. The onyomi are shin or jin. It's the jin of jinja. This means God, as in any religion's God. But in Japan, if people talk about the kami, they are generally talking about Shinto gods or Shinto spirits. The radical is the shimesuhen. Looks like katakana ne. And it means altar, festival, or ceremony, which is appropriate because Shinto has a lot of festivals and rituals and ceremonies for the kami. The stroke order, again, same as ne, it's a little shorter on the right side. And then a sun with a spear through it. Let's see what they have, the same as the book. They have Kamisama, which is how you address gods. Jinja, Shinto shrine, or literally God's company. Company as in place of work. Shinto is Shinto religion. Shinwa, mythologies. Seishin, nerves or mind or spirit. Shinkei is nerves or sensitivity. Kamiwaza is a miracle, literally a industry event of the gods. And then Kobe, which is, of course, a city to the west of Osaka. So that's kami or shin. The next one is a verb root of okiru. So the kunyomi is o, or the kunyomi is o, or the onyomi is ki, means to rise, get up, wake up, to be awake. It has the running radical there. This part, the hint, the self gets up to run in the morning. This anatone is read onore, and it refers to oneself. The stroke order for the running radical, for this running radical, we build the radical first, and then the right-hand side comes second. So okiru is to get up. Hayaoki suru, to wake up early. The next kanji we have is the kanji for cow. And you may wonder, why do I need to know the kanji for cow? Because the kanji for cow figures into the reading for lesson 12. So we have the stroke order. Notice that it's very similar to the kanji for noon, but it comes above this line. So when you're writing noon, make sure you don't extend the vertical line above this line, or else you're writing cow. The onyomi is gyu, the kunyomi is ushi, and the radical is ushi, cow. Kind of looks like horns. I kind of see it. Is that supposed to? I never knew those were animated. Wow, cool. Good to know. So we have gyu nyu, which is cow milk. Gyu niku, literally cow meat or beef. Togyu, fighting cows or bullfight. Ushi is a cow. Ko ushi, baby cow or calf. Our next kanji is another verb root. This is the kanji for tsukao. The other reading for it is shi. It means to use. In the old days, it also meant an envoy or somebody who was in the service of the emperor. Okay, that's an interesting animation. So remember, it's the ninben is the person radical, person used by the emperor as an official. Oops, sorry. Let's go back to the beginning for the stroke order. Start with the person radical, and then we build out the right side. For our examples, of course, we have the verb tsukao, to use. We also have taishi, which is an ambassador, right? A big or important envoy. We have shio suru, which means to use, to make use of. Tenshi is an angel, right? The envoy of heaven. Maho tsukai, maho is magic. A maho tsukai is a wizard. For our next kanji, yet again, another verb root. It looks complex, but it's made of 3 distinct parts. This is the base of the verb hataraku. The onyomi for it is do. Again, it has a person radical, which makes sense because people work. And then this side without the person radical is actually the kanji for ugoku, to move. And if you want to break that down into parts, we have this part, which means heavy, and then this part, which means power. So a person moving heavy loads, right? Person using their power to move heavy loads is working. Let's take a look at the stroke order. So we start with the person radical. Then we write the part that on its own is pronounced ju, or heavy. And chikara. So notice the chikara starts sort of mid character. It doesn't start up top where the other ones are, but it's kind of lower and to the side. So for examples, we have hataraku, to work. We have tomobataraki, a couple in which both people work, or dual income. We have rodo, which is labor. The do of rodo is means like tough. And what else did they use? The book doesn't have anything else but shitabaraki, right? To work below somebody, to work as an assistant. The next kanji, den, means to link. It's got kuruma in here and a running radical. It is also the tsu of tsureru. So remember, I guess that's the road radical, huh? But you put a car and a road. And that means to link or to join up or to unify. The hint tells us about cars traveling in a row. So for examples, we have, right, tsurete iku, to bring somebody along. Kokuren, which is the United Nations. This is an abbreviation for Kokusai Dengo. So Kokusai International Dengo is an association. Denkyu, consecutive holidays. So if we have a Monday off after, a 3-day weekend, is considered a denkyu. Kanden suru, to be related to. Kodomo zure, to bring your children, right, accompanied by children. Next kanji is the kanji for betsu, for separate or another. So the onyomi is betsu or wakareru, to split up, to part from. Let's look at the stroke order. Starts with a mouth and some legs. And then something that looks a lot like ri. And the radical is the rito, which means knife or sword. The hint is cutting up an animal with a knife. Alright, so we have wakareru, to be separated from. We have bitsuni. They don't have just bitsuni. Bitsuni means, with a negative, means nothing in particular. We have tokubetsu, which is special or particular. Sabetsu, discrimination or to discriminate. Betsubetsu, betsubetsu ni, separately. So if you're in a restaurant and you would like separate checks, you can say betsubetsu ni shite kudasai, and then they can give you separate checks. This is the kanji for do. We came across this in lesson 12 when we were talking about degrees of temperature. It can be degrees of temperature, but it can also indicate time as well. So the onyomi do or to or taku. Kunyomi is tabi. The radical is the madare, the slanting roof. The hint, tools in a working room have a high degree of use, are often used. Okay, great. Okay. The stroke order. And once again, so you start with the madare. And then fill in the middle. So ichido, once, right? We use this as mo ichido kudasai. Right, once more, please. We had this recently as ondo, temperature, air temperature, particularly. We have also had kondo, in the near future or next time. Nijudo, 20 degrees. Mandomo, many times over. Okay, so we have 3 more kanji to go. The next one is a color. This is akai, of akai. The onyomi is seki or shaku. It is a radical within itself. Let's look at the animation. A crackling red fire, I guess. Let's look at the stroke order. Okay. I don't know how to make that stop. So anyway, we have akai as a color in its adjectival form. We have akachan, which is a baby or a red thing. Babies cry, their faces turn red. Thus, they are red things. Sekido, the red road, is the equator, which is how it is drawn on globes. And then Sekijuji, the red 10 character, or the red cross. Akaji, red figures, means to have a deficit. In English, we say to be in the red. We have another color here, and this is the color blue. It's ao, or sei, or sho. It is also its own radical. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. There's the moon in the bottom part of the kanji, so I guess you could think about a blue moon, and that might help you remember that this is the kanji for blue. So we have aoi, the color blue. It can also mean pale. If somebody says kao ga aoi, right, your face is blue, what they mean is you look pale. This is also used, seinen is youth, seishun, your blue spring, your springtime of life, again, your youth or adolescence. Aozora, blue sky. Aoshingo, a green light. In the old days, there was not a discrimination between blue and certain shades of green. So that is why traffic signals in Japan are called aoshingo when it's green. They are not actually blue. They're just called blue. Our last kanji is the kanji for color, iro, also pronounced shoku or shiki. It is also its own radical. Well, let's look at the stroke order. So the top is a little similar to part of the ben of benkyo, but it doesn't have a chikara in it. It doesn't have the strength radical in it. And actually, this bottom part is different. It would branch out into 2 legs rather than 1. So, iro means color. Iro means various or many colors. Kao iro is your complexion, or particularly the tone of your complexion. Keshiki is scenery or landscape. Chihou shoku, local color. Okay, so those are the last 14 kanji of Genki Lesson 12. Make sure that you go over them on your own. I will post something up on Quizlet so you can practice them as well. And I will see you in class.